Leetcode number 694, number of distinct islands. The first thing we want to have is a hash set. This hash set is going to keep track of all of our distinct islands. A distinct island is going to look something like visit. It's going to be like a string of visit, left, down, right. It'll basically denote the current positioning of a given island. So first things first, we have a hash set, and we want to loop through every single element in the grid. So we're going to have two for loops, looping on I, looping on j, and for grid of I, j, we want to see if it's land. Land is going to be denoted as 1. So then we're going to see if grid I of j equals 1, we want to add to the hash set a DFS call. A DFS call is going to take in 3 parameters. It's going to take in the grid, an I, and a j. Now, in the actual DFS method, there are a few things that we want to check to see if we've arrived at the base case. The first thing is, does the row exist? Does grid of I exist? The second thing we want to check is, does the cell exist? Does grid of I, j exist? The third thing we want to check is I in the bounds of the grid? So is I greater than grid.length? And then the fourth thing we want to check is j greater than grid of I dot length. And finally, the last thing I want to check is this grid element that we're on, is it water? Water is going to be denoted as 0. So if any of these conditions are met, we want to return the string visit. Otherwise, we want to return a parameter called visit of the DFS method plus DFS, and we're going to pass in grid, we're going to pass in I, we're going to pass in j plus 1. But j plus 1 is actually going to be the right coordinate. So the fourth parameter we're going to pass in is going to be the string right. Now we're going to add that another DFS. We're going to DFS grid of I plus 1, j, and this is actually going to be down because I represents the rows and j represents the columns. And then we do that twice more for both up and left. Now, one really important thing that we need to also do here is whenever we've visited, whenever we're on any given grid element, we want to mark whether or not we've been there. So we want to mark it with a 2. So grid of I, j equals 2. If we don't do this, we're going to end up with infinite recursion because it's going to keep trying to do the same grid element over and over again. But marking as 2 ensures that we are not doing the same grid element again. And that is a solution for this problem.